Welcome back to my channel. So during this video we're going to be using a very old palette in my collection, and it's the L'Oreal palette Nude 2, and this is what it looks like. It's very old, and it's a rosy Mauvy color scheme. I don't know what we're going to be coming up with, but we'll see. I pulled it out during my Shop My Stash for this week because I wanted to see, does the formula still performs like it should, or like it did when I first bought it. It's like one of the very first palettes I've owned. So I did go ahead and use my P. Louise base number 2 in the shade Rumor to place on my eyes as a base. Brain freeze on Monday morning. So we're going to go ahead and take the Morphe, I don't know if I want to do this 505 because I want it more fluffed out. Let's do the matte. We're going to take the matte 224 brush. Like I said, I don't know what I want to do this morning, but it's going to be something like really, well, it's going to be rosy mauve, of course. Let's start out with, let's do this third shade next to the last shade in the palette, and it's this matte shade, like a soft rosy matte shade. And we're going to take the MAC 224 brush and then just place it right in the crease area and just pack it. Let me zoom you guys out of them. There you go. Because I feel like I'm out of frame doing that. So I'm just placing it before we start blending it. Now it's placing pretty good to be an older palette in my collection, because I haven't played with this thing in years. And I know that, you know, eyeshadows and stuff can expire, but I have tons of eyeshadow palettes that's been in my collection for years that I just have not decluttered. I'm just going to continue to pack it right in the area, the crease area, and right close to the brow bone area. And my light did come back on, because I know I mentioned in one of my videos that my vanity light went out on me. It did not want to come back on. Don't know what that was about, but the next day it actually came back on. So I was excited for that. So hopefully this lighting is back to normal. So I'm just continuing to place a little bit more so we can go ahead and start blending. And it's this nice little rosy, soft pink shade. So I feel like I've packed enough so we can start blending. And we're not going to switch brushes. I'm just going to blend lightly in circular motions and windshield wiper motions so we can blend what we placed in that area, so it's not sitting in one spot and patchy. And I'm just going like in circular motions around the edges and right in the crease area. And it's still actually performing pretty good, especially with this P. Louise base. So I'm going to continue to blend. So I'm going to take a little bit more just to make sure it's placed, you know, fully covered in that area. And I'm just blending. And the same thing for this one. That's pretty nice. I like that. It's like coming together really good. So now I'm going to take this Trying to find a 433 brush. Okay, the Morphe 433 brush is just this flat shader brush, blending brush, not shader, flat blending brush. And now let's go in with the shade. Let's try this very last shade, this deep purplish matte shade. And we're going to pack it on the brush. And we're going to place it right in our outer V. And, oh, there's a pigmented shadow. Ooh. See, I didn't know how to work with shadows back then. I was just trying my best. So we're just going to continue to pack it. And and now that I'm pretty decent with it, I think I can work with it now. And we're going to pack all of it till it's off of the brush, because I didn't want to go straight in blending. We're going to do that once we get it packed how we want the shade. So now that we have it packed, we're going to take a little bit more just to make sure that base again is set before you start blending. So we're just going to make sure it's packed really good in that area and down on that base where it's tacky. Just a little bit more. And I'm going in the shape of the V. So now we're going to take the same brush and just start lightly blending. Not too heavy, but lightly blend those two shadows together. I'm going in light, very light circular motions. And the same thing for this eye, just light, light, light. I'm doing the same thing again, just really light, fluffy circular motions. And then until you just blend out these edges like really, really good. But you don't want to do it too hard with these shades. Shadows rather, not shades. With these shadows, they are really, really soft shadows. And I don't want to break it up. Okay, so that is coming together pretty good. So we're going to take a little bit more of this deep shade and place it back on the lid in the outer V. And then take a little bit more for the other eye. Alright, this is coming together really pretty though. And I'm just packing. So now we're gonna take the end of the brush and just kind of flick out the harshness from the center of the lid. We're gonna place just a little bit more because it's kind of like you can see in this area where I need to just pack it here and not blend it, like as too, not blend it too heavy, because I feel like it's kind of breaking up right in that area. Well, you want to make sure you just pack it, and it broke up because of the blending. And these like really, really, really soft shades. And I'm just packing back on. Okay, so we're going to go back in with our MAC 224 brush. I did not apply any more shadows. We're just going to lightly fluff and blend these two shades together. I'm not going down in the crease, but right above the crease where the deep shade starts. So now we're going to take a little bit more of the first shade that we used, which is this matte shade, the third shade from the last shade in the palette, and lightly fluff it back in that area, right above that deep shade, but not in that crease area because you don't want to break up the shadow. And I'm lightly, when I say lightly fluffing these shadows. So now we are going to go in with my glitter glue, Too-Faced glitter glue. So we're going to take the, just this flat fluffy brush. This is a motor brush. I got this from Walmart. Just a flat shader brush. We're going to take our two dollops, the norm, place on the back of my hand, and use the brush to place the glitter glue. And I start with the center and just fluff it, pack it on towards the inner corner of the eye. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and take it closer to that outer V so we can place this shadow back on our lid, because I feel like once I do it this way, that deep shade will stick a little bit better than trying to continue to blend it. So do the same thing for the other eye. I place most of it in the center, and then we work our way around the rest of the eye, the inner corner, up to the crease and the outer V area, in this case today. Because what I want to make sure this shadow sticks throughout the day and my outer V doesn't disappear on me. So we're just making sure we have it up to the crease. And I think everything is good to go. So now let's go in with the shade. Is this like a, that's a taupey shade. This is an all matte palette. I didn't even realize that. But we're going to keep going with it, because I do want a shimmer shade somewhere though. You know what? I'm going to knock it out with a shimmer shade. I'm going to take my J-Cat. You know what? I'm not going to do that. Let's just keep it going. Let's just take this very, you know what? Let's make it a, let's take this shade here. The, 1, 2, 3, fourth shade from the last shade in the palette. It's a, I can't describe this color, but we're going to pop this on the inner corner. We're going to just pack it on top of the lid, the center lid, center of the eyelid, over into the inner corner up to the crease where you placed it, and lightly pack it closer to the outer V, but not all the way on the outer V, because we're going to go back in with the matte shade and place it back on the outer V. And what I'm doing now is making sure this is more like a bronzy, light bronzy type shade. It's prettier on the eyelid than it looks in the palette too. So we're going to make sure it's placed really good over the base. The same thing for this eyelid. Start right in the center and work yourself over to the inner corner and up the crease area. Take a little bit more and make sure it's packed really good on your lid, especially where you place this glitter glue. And I'm just making sure it's placed closer to the outer V And I'm just packing. I'm not blending. We're just packing the shadow on. And do the same thing for the other eye again, just to make sure it's coated really good where the glitter glue is placed. Now we're going to lightly fluff this shade up into the crease with the same brush, like really light. Like tiny circular motions. Now we're going to do the same brush. I'm just lightly blending these edges so we can place this Mauvy shade back in that area. So now I'm going to go back in my 433 Morphe brush with the very last deep purple shade in the palette. And we're going to lightly place it back into that outer V and lightly fluff it. And lightly blend it. Doing the same thing again to this side because I didn't feel like it was enough shadow on the outer V for this eye, so we'll just put a little bit more on my brush and lightly fluffing it into this lid shade. Okay, so now we're going to go in with this smaller pencil brush by Profusion. And we're just going to make sure the crease area is blended and this outer V area. Cool. And our Morphe brush, I'm not taking any more shadows right now. And then we're just going to make sure this is blended to our liking. And I'm liking how this has come together. Okay, so hang on guys, let me get my wipes. I thought I had it already. Wasn't no point in stopping the camera just to get the wipe. I normally have them out, but in this case this morning I did not. Don't know why, but we're going to keep moving. So we're going to take our wipe, put a little micellar water on it so we can clean these babies up and keep it moving. Okay. So I placed a little bit on my wipe. So now I'm going to clean up under this eye area. And I always say it, this just allows me to see what my final eye looks like before I move on with my base or jump off camera, so you guys can see the final of the eyeshadow. So this is what it's looking like. I'm really pleased with this eyeshadow, to be honest, with how long it's been since I've used it. But I'm going to go ahead and go in with this Morphe 518 brush so we can blend out this inner corner, this inner crease area. And it's just a clean, fluffy brush just to blend out these edges a little bit. I really like how this has come together. It's like really pretty for the, like I said, for how long I've had the shadows. They still perform really good. So I'm just lightly fluffing a little bit more and dragging out this deep shade. I'm just lightly stroking this deeper shade, light, really light. Same thing for this eye. Okay, so I like how that looks. So we're gonna do one last thing while I'm on camera with you all for my eyes. I'm gonna take this Wet n Wild Cream Brulee shade because I like this matte bone type shade, and we're gonna pop this shade right in our brow bone area and bring a little pop to it and then brighten it a little bit and set this concealer under my eyebrow. So now we're going to go back in with the MAC 224 and just lightly fluff those two shades together. And we did not add any more shadow. Okay, so I like that. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead, jump off camera, come back on my final look, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Welcome back. This is the final look. I love how everything came together. It is like so pretty to me. Like I said, this palette I've had years and years. And it still performs pretty good. I did not apply any more shadows on my eyelid. And I do like how it really did perform. It still shows up pretty good. If you have this palette, let me know your thoughts on it. What I may do is just see if they still have it in Walmart. I believe they do. And I'm thinking I'm going to purchase another one just to see if the formula has changed. But this is a really good palette. Especially a nice everyday soft, rosy, mauvey. If you are in those types of shades, I do like this. It's really soft. It's not too bold. Even with the deeper shade in the palette, the last one is deep but not too deep where you can't blend it. To finish the rest of my face, I use my Shop My Stash items. For my foundation today, I actually mixed my Black Radiance foundation along with the ColourPop foundation, and I love how it performed. The consistency was really good. It gave me more of a matte feel, which I do like. I do like it. For my primer this morning, I did use the ColourPop primer along with the No Problem primer. And I'm going to be doing a full face with some of these items in my video. And maybe my next 2 videos or so while using these items. So for my blush this morning, I used the Ofra that I pulled out. The Ofra blush in the shade Sweet Stuff. This is a nice soft rosy type nude blush, pinkish nude blush. And then for highlighting, I use my Huda Beauty's 3D highlighting palette, and I use the shade Seychelles. I think that's how you pronounce it, Seychelles. I don't know, but it's that pretty gold shade there. I popped into my inner corner and my highlight areas and my nose and my Cupid's bow. Now for my lips this morning, I lined with my Loreal Pro in Duchess. I love this thing, this liner. And for my lips, I pulled out this Clarins Velvet Lip Perfector, and it's just a nude liquid lipstick in the shade 01, and I topped it with this Nature's Cartel Shimmer Lip Gloss. And I think I've received both of these in a BoxyCharm. Like I said, I do love how everything came together. Oh, and I sprayed with my Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray. And I did top it with my Morphe spray. I did not pull this out, but it's like empty. But I did top it with this. So that completes the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have not done so already, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. And become part of my YouTube family here. See you guys in my next video. Goodbye.